Okay, everybody. So I'm gonna call the meeting to order. It's 2:04 p.m. and welcome everybody here. Special guest Tracy Jackson joins us again.
Hooray! See you, Tracy.
Hi.
Yep. And then I got a large amount of people that sent me emails saying that we can't make it. There's other meetings and whatnot. Some folks are in Washington D.C.
For what?
They have a
Lion.
yeah, Barb Lau. They have a transportation.
Diversity.
Yeah, I forgot what the name of it is, but it's a large meeting on a federal level. So they're not able to make it. There's also an MNUCP meeting, and then who will be joining us late is Sheila. So Sheila says she's gonna be joining us late. So
Goodwill Easter Seals.
Yep. So just want to thank everybody for making it to the September 2023 Green Line Extension DBE and Workforce Advisory Committee. Ashanti is also out on vacation this week, so I'm stepping in for him.
How many vacations has he had this year? You
know
I had to ask this, and I want it in the minutes.
I have no idea.
This has got to be his sixth
I think
vacation.
he times it just for this meeting so that he can he trusts all of us in the work that we're doing. So
Next month, I'm not taking vacation that day after. I'm taking it on this day.
I won't.
Yep. So.
Then she'll miss our fun stuff.
Yeah.
So very good. I just want to welcome everybody and then move the meeting along. Since this is an in-person meeting, we're not going to do any roll call or anything like that. Just asking everybody to make sure you sign in so that we can add that to the meeting minutes. And then we had the meeting handouts out there, so that's available for you to go through and everything. Look through. Everything's also been uploaded online at the DBE Workforce Advisory webpage. And I think if there's any questions about the handouts, then you can also reach out there, or you can contact the co-chairs, Ashanti or Tyler, or else send an email to me. But aside from that, I think that we can kick it off, and then I'll hand it over to Tyler to review the August meeting minutes.
I think just as John mentioned, they're included out there and then also posted. So iterate that if anyone has any edits or additions that they would like made to those minutes, please just let either John or myself or Ashanti know, and we can get that inserted. It's no problem. Right off the cuff, anyone have a chance to look at them with any comments, questions, anything about those minutes in this very full note? Okay. So if there are no edits to be made, we can move into the Green Line Extension project updates. David would normally do that, but I understand he is not here, so James is filling in for him. So we'll turn over to him.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Tyler. Thank you, John. Again, I met some of you online. I think at one point. Good to see you again in person. It's always nice to remember that people have bodies. Go along with their heads. That's nice to see. We're not just I'm gonna really date myself here. Remember Max Headroom? Is that Tracy? Max Headroom ring a bell, right? MTV character.
Is that a person?
Huh? Max Headroom was a character on MTV years ago.
Oh.
It's just a big head. Right, so it's a cultural reference. It's just aging myself to make everybody else comfortable. All right, again, Nick Dial will come in probably a little bit later. He's our construction director, and he has another meeting, another conflict. He was going to be here earlier, but he can't. And if we have any outstanding questions that I can't, technical questions that I can't answer, Nick will come in and probably answer them if we still have any. I will do my best. So why don't we get right into it? There's the civil construction update. A lot of these photos, as you'll see, will be more of the eastern side of the corridor because so much of the western side has already been completed. So what's under construction is primarily sort of more or less east of St. Louis Park. As you know, when we started, we had sort of several critical path projects, right, that were long lead projects, and one was at Southwest Station, another, for instance, would have been Glenwood Bridge, another would have been a Kenilworth Tunnel. But here you can see we've made quite a bit of progress at Southwest Station. You can see if you have the opportunity to go down there, you can drive down there and you can see the new station. We had a grand opening for that station back in May, because we partner with Southwest Transit. And it went really well. It's a beautiful new station. And we'll co-locate eventually when the trains start running in 27. But we finished the parking ramp, and that was really phase 1, and the bus loop. And now we are completing phase 2, which is your drop-off area. So in the distance here, sort of in the middle of the picture to the right, you can see Technology Drive, and beyond that is Purgatory Park. You can see the footprint of there's 2 strip malls there, and that's the first one on the west side. But that's going to be the exit area what you're looking at right now from the parking ramp, the new parking ramp. And I think they're going to be paving that in October, so it's moving along really well, and they anticipate, at least in theory, the general schedule was to reopen that at the beginning of December, really to be complete with Southwest Station and open for business. So it's a big I think it's a big milestone for us. It's taken about 3.5 years, right, to get to that point. So, next picture. Now we're just jumping right over Eden Prairie. We've gone through Minnetonka. We're right on the north end of Minnetonka here. If people are familiar with 5th Street, K-Tel Drive, a little south of Excelsior Drive, and Hopkins. This is on the right is our Minnetonka-Hopkins Bridge. That's the longest bridge on our corridor. I think it's a little less than 3,000 feet. And on the left-hand side there, you can see the construction underway for a fairly large water retention pond. Just in the distance to the left of that, you can see the edge of where our rail support facility will also go. I know you guys are involved with that bid and putting that out. John's involved in that as well. So a lot of construction in that area. It's looking really, really good. We've got station work, road work. We're extending 17th Avenue. If you know Hopkins, runs from the downtown area to Excelsior Drive. We're going to extend that all the way down to K-Tel and 5th eventually when it's already connected. Yep.
Okay, this is a bridge. What is it going over? Or is it just up in the air?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question, particularly in the case of this bridge. Because if you look at the distance, it does peak. It goes higher. And the reason we had to build that as high as we did, so it does sort of go like a roller coaster, is because we had to get over the CP rail, which also runs on, if you know Shady Oak Road, it runs under Shady Oak Road, and we had to continue that. We had to get over top of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just south of that bridge, if you know that area, is Smetana Road. That area, yeah. All right, just around the corner from that water retention pond is our Shady Oak Station in Hopkins. Like I said, made tremendous advances there in the last 3 or 4 months. You see all the track is in there. It was just a station standing there all alone for a very long time. And now they've got that going on. A lot of exciting, I think, potential in this area. To the left of that, where the dozer is, that's going to be a fairly large parking lot. Kind of where we're standing, a little bit beyond where the photographer is standing, is where 17th Avenue will be standing on 17th Avenue. But if you go north from there, there's this enormous swath of undeveloped land there. In the city of Hopkins, Eden Prairie, Hopkins, Minnetonka both have had a pretty substantial co-development plan for that, for both sides of 17th Avenue extension. And of course, going south, we run the K-Tel 5th. Okay, direct fixation plinth construction. I can't say that 3 times fast. I might need to. Excelsior Bridge. It's just, I think this photo just indicates the continued progress on Excelsior Bridge. That's one of our showcase bridges, right? The cantilever bridge construction, and it has this beautiful swale to it. And again, another bridge that is built a certain way at a certain height so the rail can run underneath it across Excelsior Drive.
Okay.
But again, you can see another stage of development here. And what I'd like to point out, we do a lot of public tours, and one of the things I like to point out on our public tours is just how complex the construction is. Just to give credit to the workers, because the detail is extraordinary. You see the plinths there, those black rubber plinths, the concrete plinths, but you see the fixation, I guess those brackets on top of them. Each of them have bolts on either side of them. Now those bolts have housing that's set in the rebar for each of those plinths. All those rebar, that whole bridge would be green, a year ago with rebar. And it's all tied by individual guys who are just standing over, tying all this stuff together every day. And then they're setting all the heights of those plinths at a certain height. Every one of those elevations is specific based on the elevation of the train, the incline of the train. Same thing with those black fixations mounts, that the housing underneath has to be so precise that when you place that on top of the plinth, right, it screws directly into that housing. It has to be a perfect fit. It's just, I love to point that out because to me, I find that amazing. Just the level of detail and craftsmanship that goes into these projects. All right, operator's facility. I'm not quite sure what the operator does there. It's just a small little house at the Blake Station. It's the only, it looks more like a bathroom, to be honest with you. It's just a little brick building, and it's the only one I know of at any of our stations. So maybe it's kind of like the halfway point, could possibly be. But it's just a little brick building inside. I'm not quite sure what happens in there.
Do they have a bathroom? Maybe it's a
There is.
bathroom
It could
staff.
be for the operator. Is that what it is? Well, thanks.
It's a bathroom.
I thought it was one of the systems
I think
power
they call them
stations.
break rooms, yes.
Okay, so that's what it is. It's not sort of a technical room of sorts.
Bathroom.
It's a bathroom of sorts. And those are important.
That's
for
awesome.
facilities. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's- All right, and the vertical circulator structural slab at West Lake Street Station. We've got, I think, 3 or 4 sets of what are otherwise known in the vernacular as elevators, right? Vertical circulators. And that,
Sorry.
And they couldn't just call them elevators?
I think there's a technical reason why.
Just like facilities.
Don't know the
You're my
technical
go-to guy now.
I don't know the technical facility. Why?
I'm so
why,
glad
but-
he's here.
All right, well, good. All right, but anyway, there's one on both sides of the Lake Street Bridge, right? So depending on what side you're on, you go up and you can get a bus connection to take your bike up and get on Lake Street and continue down
Lake
there.
Street East and West, yeah.
What's that?
Lake Street East and West, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice station.
One of
Lake
3
Street.
vertical circulations on the project.
It is, yeah.
Oh, look at how wet that one is.
Okay, and that's, of course, the Kenilworth Tunnel. You can see the secant wall cutting down there. That is, I just commented briefly about the level of craftsmanship and work that goes into top of a bridge. This is a whole nother level. When you get into the weeds of the construction of this, I was always hoping, I don't know if anybody ever did, but there should have been like a video diary on this, because this could be like a mega project on TV, on the Discovery Channel. Where we're so close to a parking lot, all the obstacles that had to be overcome and successfully, of course, overcome. I mean, one of the things that I always found most odd, but I think it's symbolic of the complexity here, is that when we go out on tours occasionally, you'd see a life preserver attached to the wall of the SOE here. You think, what is that for? It's because they had these underwater welders at some point. Yeah, right? So you guys know about that. It's just an extraordinary thing. Extraordinary project. So much. Those guys who build that, it's unbelievable.
There were people swimming in there?
But when they put the slab in, it's underwater. When they put the SOE in, the supportive excavation on both sides there, sometimes it would go down and they just have to be sure it's all welded together, so there's a seal there. They put the slab down and they'd have divers down there literally underwater welding if necessary. It's extraordinary.
Vite was our contractor for that piece.
Yeah,
Vite.
Just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing stuff, If you ever want to just if you get a chance, you can still have access. We have tours, and I think you can wander around down
Just
there.
don't have to wear your scuba gear.
No scuba gear or flippers.
Yeah.
But it's just an amazing feat. The craftsmanship there is extraordinary. Okay, and then the supportive excavation, that's that rusty metal you see there on both sides. That's a little bit above grade, so, normally we pull that out. But in this case, we're leaving it in for the bridge, extra support, I guess, and it just would be a very difficult task to pull it out of there, given the confines of the space. Probably other technical reasons. But, so we have to, though, cut off, I think, 2.5 or 3 feet. And you can see they've already started on the left-hand side photo there. And you can see even some of the backfill over top of the slab. That's the top slab on the right. And eventually it's going to be grade, and 5 years from now, people are never going to know there's anything under there. And just in addition, as you may know, there's also a fairly substantial landscape plan that we put together, 5 or 6 years ago, in concert with that community, which will then go into effect once we get to that level when the bridge is finished. And that's a whole nother extra contract that's going to go on top to really beautify that area. It's going to be really quite beautiful when it's finished. All right, the upper tunnel transition, and of course I think that's what we might call the northern head, right? Is that what that is? By the upper tunnel transition, where we're coming out of the tunnel?
The boat
slope?
section.
What is it?
The boat section.
Boat section. What would boat refer to?
Basically, it's where the train is actually starting to come up or go
Come
into
out.
the tunnel.
Okay,
Yep.
boat section, okay.
So it'd be
Yeah.
just picture like a boat landing almost.
Perfect.
Same
Because I've
thing.
been out there, it's exactly what it looks like, right?
Yep.
And I think that rebar you see sticking out is what we're referring to. And then that's probably going up and it comes out right at grade level, right over the
So it's where the top of the
seaway.
tunnel stops, and then it's actually an open, almost like approach to, let's say, the tunnel right out here.
Right,
You go into retaining walls. You have retaining
Exactly.
walls on each side. There won't be any cover on the top here. This is a little bit further back. We have a couple more roof pours here, but then it goes into that boat section where it's just the cantilever or concrete walls on
the
either
train
side.
emerges.
Yep.
And I think in this case, if this is the northern head, then that comes out right on top of the Cedar Lake bridges.
That
I
is
think,
correct.
Very closely.
Yep, it surfaces to grade level and then goes at grade or bridge over Cedar Lake Channel.
And speaking of that,
There it
Cedar
is.
Channel, beautiful how that came out with the WPA wall. It's open now. We didn't pay any of those people. They're just enjoying things on
That's
their
me.
own.
No.
That's you up there. But that came out beautiful, that whole area. Bryn
I
Mawr
just went
Pass.
kayaking there Sunday.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
It
Even
is.
underneath. I haven't been underneath it, but I think underneath it's very pretty too, the way they've got it all configured. Bryn Mawr Station passenger drop off, of course, that's right just on the south side of 394. And in the next photo, you'll see from there, you enter the pedestrian bridge, which is quite a substantial structure. If you've been down the corridor, you'll be able to see that, right? You just kind of walk out and then you drop down, I gotta say, at least 20, 25 feet down to grade level there. And then the station there, I think you can just see that, that's probably a fence on the right-hand side, but where that fence is on the top, just below that, you'll have our Bryn Mawr station.
James?
Yep.
Are they gonna put glass or fence along the side of that walkway?
That walkway? That's
Yeah,
a good
there is.
question. I don't know.
I don't know if it's glass or if it's just chain link, but there is a fencing on there. You can see we got temporary panels during the construction in on right now.
Something to prevent people from
Yeah.
exploring outer recesses. All right, and the precast panel installation roofing, again, further down Bassett Creek, right, not too far from the impound lot. There probably would be just beyond that bridge, right? This is, again, another vertical circulation station, the last one, I think, along the corridor. And again, another long lead item, remarkable engineering feat here as we've had to build the Glenwood Avenue Bridge with the LRT bridge that crossed over, all grade level. I mean, I can't tell you how, it's nice to see the final photo because as a layman, I can tell you that in 3 years from walking out there, I could never figure it out. I mean, literally, I could never figure out where the road was gonna go. And so it's just amazing I think to see that finished. You can see the grade level crossing there. And as we continue, again, one of the two dual track stations, one of course is Southwest Station, terminus, and then we've got the Royalston Station. We'll have a track on both sides. And we continue on, and of course, you can see Haywood on the left of the bottom photograph, and that's kind of looking from Target Field, where we're connecting to what was the old dead-ended track on the original Green Line. So a lot of amazing work. Okay, and as you know, I think we're about a little over 70% done throughout the whole corridor on all the construction. And if you go out west, right, from Eden Prairie, pretty much through Minnetonka, you'll see that systems is advanced significantly. And we're going to go through some of those photos here. Here we're down at Southwest Station, just leaving, the underground parking garage. Sorry, not the underground parking, but the parking garage underneath it. In the station, you can see this is the probably a couple months ago they started pulling the wiring. They've gone probably all the way up. They're getting close to Golden Triangle Station right now with pulling wiring, but they've already finished the catenary system, right? And as you'll see as we go forward, they've dropped almost all the traction power substations, signal houses in Eden Prairie. So this is 302, and that looks like City West Station. I want to say no. That could be City. Is that City West Station? I think that's City West
I think
Station.
you're Eden Prairie Town Center.
No.
Town Center Station.
Town
Sorry,
Center.
that's what I'm thinking. That's Town Center Station.
Is that a shopping mall?
Town Center Station? No, Town Center Station is a station. But if you know Eden Prairie, right? Eden Prairie had 5,000 people in the late 60s. Now they have nearly 50. And it's an affluent little town, but back in the day, they didn't even have a grocery store, and they had a gas station. And so it never had a downtown, so they'd never had it. So they're perpetually looking for a downtown, hence the name Town Center Station.
Okay.
And they actually rebranded the road to it Town Center Place, right? And this is not very far from the mall. If you were to go to your right, from here, probably about 200 yards, you'd have Single Tree Road, which runs parallel with our track coming off of Prairie Center Drive up the hill. If you know that area, is a Walmart there. Continue up to Flying Cloud, and then right across the street, you've got the mall there. So they're trying to just really do everything they can over the years to continue to build out that area, create that downtown, center of Eden Prairie. Okay, and here's looks like a feeder cable again, pulling UPS manholes and OCS feeder poles. There's a lot of detail to the systems, right? It's not just dropping the boxes, putting the poles up, even just pulling the wires. There's connections, and there's different kind of panels that are installed in order to track and of course the conduits that go in throughout the corridor, and that will later, in order to track where trains are along the way, all the way downtown to the main operations center. All right, that's the 9 Mile Bridge, and we're basically looking from Flying Cloud Drive. If you know that area, we're kind of looking due west here, and that's our 9 Mile Bridge. Just beyond the edge of what you can see is the bridge is Highway 212, and on the left is another TPSS station. And this is a drop. You can see this is an amazing company here. Very, very impressed with these guys. Can't remember the name. What is it?
Vix.
Vix?
Yeah.
These guys, they get in there, they put their cranes up, they drop these 45-ton TPSS stations and the rest, and then they're out, in 5 hours, 6 hours. So we've been very, very glad for that because it can be a little disruptive sometimes. But this is down at our Golden Triangle Station. Just beyond that container on the left-hand photo, you can see what used to be called Blue Stem. For those of you just a little trivia historian, Eden Prairie, that was the original headquarters of Best Buy back in the day in Golden Triangle. About 6,000 people work in that area. That's the industrial area of Eden Prairie. Just to the forefront here, the right is our new transit parking area and our Golden Triangle Station. And at the beginning, at the end of Golden Triangle Station, right, you can see, which would be, if you continued that bridge, right, continued in that direction of the bridge, you'd have our Golden Triangle Station there, and that's our Shady Oak Highway 212 bridge. And this was a little bit of a different TPS lift because they had to slide it into place with these hydraulic jacks. So they put all the foundations in, right, as they do elsewhere, and then they had to bring the cranes in, and all in one day. They set all this apparatus up, they slide it in, they take it all down, and away they go. But that's a pretty interesting one. And then we're moving out of Eden Prairie here. We've gone through the 62 tunnel, we come into Opus, through past Opus Station, across West Bren Road, and we've got my favorite wall, by the way, that retaining wall there, I call that the castle wall. There's a moat down below.
Oh.
So if you stand down there, it really feels like if you can imagine, if you like castles. And that's another TPS station that they're dropping on top of that, another crane lift on top of that. So we continue then along the corridor. You can just catch the corner of the track in the middle of the right-hand side of the right-hand photograph, and then we go north to Smetana. right? And then we go underneath Metropolitan and connect to the bridge we saw earlier, the Minnetonka Hopkins Bridge earlier, so. Yep, that's it. Any additional questions? All right, thank you all very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah. If you have any questions, like I said, I think Nick Dial will pop his head in here later. Follow-up questions.
Thank you, James. All right, well, without any questions, then we're gonna jump into the reports. So the reports were sent out earlier this week, and they are also available on the DBE and Workforce Advisory Committee webpage. We're gonna jump into the slides here. So these are the achievements for the 2 remaining construction contracts. We also have the RSF Rail Support Facility Hopkins contract coming later on. But for right now, these are the 2 contracts that we have. They're both exceeding the goals, and we're gonna go into more detail later. Next slide, please. And then over time, you've just kind of seen through the years the achievement quarter by quarter. And currently, we're sitting at 23%. It's very healthy, and it's a big buffer between the goal. So we hope to maintain that. And then the systems contract is also up there as well. Next slide. And here we have the aggregated contracts, and these are just commitments to DBEs covering all of the different contracts that we have, and provides a snapshot, high-level snapshot of all the DBE contracts and the disaggregated data for the various contracts. Next slide. And then when you look at those contracts and you disaggregate it out by the different states where the DBEs are coming from or based out of, we've done pretty well with 87% of the small businesses being from Minnesota. So, yeah. And then I will pass it off to Tyler.
Okay, thank you, John. Any questions from anyone regarding the DBE achievements? Okay, if there are no questions, then I will turn it over to Elaine to give us an update on the project's workforce achievements.
I may start coughing, so I shouldn't talk. So here we have the hours through July for the civil contract, 65,989 hours. And from the start of the project through the end of July, 2,873,192 hours. Just for the month of July, they came in at 6.72% for women and 23.96 for POCI. And when you see the gold bars, those are the participations from the start of the project. They're at 18.19 for women and 23.66 for POCI. Next slide, please. And this is the breakdown in terms of the hours for the month of July. I don't think I need to go through them. As far as, this has been the participation for women throughout the project, so it's gone down, gone up, gone down, gone up, and it's been relatively steady in the 8% range. And like I said, for July, they came in at 6.72%. Next slide is the POCI, People of Color and Indigenous People. And that started out relatively low. They've slowly increased. They've had some dips generally around the middle of winter, which is when the construction season in Minnesota drops down. And for the trucking participation that we're counting, and these are just these companies' hours. I don't know who's working under them, but they are, I think ZTE has ended their work. I think you told me they were complete. MBE has 33,997 hours and Rock On 4,692 hours. And for the systems contract, they worked 4,073 hours in July, and they've worked since the start of their work, which was in July of 2020, I believe, or 2021. 33,624 hours. And they are at 13.26 overall for women and 19.66 for POCI. And this is the breakdown of systems hours. And for the disaggregated data, this is awfully small. For July, let's see. African Americans came in at 5.7%, Asian Americans 2.83%, white 74.06%, non-specified is 1.98%, multiracial or multi-ethnic 2.64%, Native Americans 2.15%, and Hispanic, Latinx, 10.64. And the project to date numbers are relatively the same. The next slide shows the actual hours and the percentages for each of the ethnic and racial groups. And it's separated out by total hours as well as by women and POCI.
Any questions? Thank you, Elaine. Any questions for Elaine on the workforce? No? Okay, if there are no questions, we can move on to the non-consent business part of the agenda. And Krista is first up to present on, JB?
All right. Now we got two slides almost the same, sorry. All right, so August, DBE is working on the project. We have a good number, as you can see, active on the project right now. We are working very closely with our DBEs, both that are on site and those that still have upcoming work and everything regarding, the change orders, the pay apps, and everything like that. Like we discussed at last month's meeting, we did have a small group discussion with 6 of our DBE subcontractors, and look forward to more information with that coming, as well as a presentation from some of those DBEs to present lessons learned. So there's our list, if you want to go to the next slide. DBE recap, there's what I was talking about, sorry about that. Showing that regarding the round table and what were the main topics that we discussed. Next slide. Upcoming things, and you're going to see this one also in the workforce part. DBE, we have great Construction Inclusion Week coming up. As many of you know, this is our 3rd for the state. It's a national week celebrating inclusion in construction. So it's October 16th through the 21st. Our light rail project has some great events, such as the one being the Rosies and the Robbies of the Rail. This will be our 4th in the series of the project that we have done so far to date.
Can I ask what that is?
You bet. I'm glad. I have to commend you about your presentation earlier. Thank you for your support of our workforce and talking about the detail.
Yeah.
So, and also thanks for your awesome question. So the Rosies and Robbies.
Just so happen to have a handout. Just kidding.
The ink's still wet. The Rosies and Robbies of the Rails, for those that don't know, if you want to take one and slide it along. It's something that we started 3 years ago regarding mental health. And just really people's feelings, the culture of care on our, not just work, not on the job site, but in the office, everywhere. That whole team aspect. And so what it is, it's a round table. We sat with a group of our subcontractors and trade partners, some of our CBOs, so community organizations, and came up with some topics that we thought were very important to talk about during, throughout the project, and just get people's feedback. Instead of having somebody come in, a professional, come in and talk to us and teach us, we're teaching each other
That's great.
with life experiences and construction. The last one that we had, about 8 months ago, was your ideal workday and what does that look like? And so it was a discussion about experiences, what you've gone through, and how do you get to that ideal workday. This one coming up is, I would say, my favorite, and it's put me in coach. Be a part of the team. How do you be a part of that team? What are your experiences going to a new job site for the field, brand new to the field? How do you go to the job site? What do you do? But also being a new person to a new company, a new experience, going from the government side to the contractor side. Those experiences that you have. And the success stories, or if they were negative experience, how did you grow and turn them into positive? So that's kind of the whole focus of the Rosies and Robbies.
Who are the Robbies?
Guys, men. Guys is a group of people in the Webster Dictionary, FYI. So Rosies and Robbies, it's everybody working on the project. I have to
It
clarify
must be
that.
true if it's in Webster's.
I looked it up during the state capitol project, because I use the word guys all the time. So anyways, that's what Rosies and Robbies of the Rail. Elaine, thanks for asking who the Robbies are. It's inclusion of everybody. Everybody. I am our diversity representative, but we bring diversity to the table.
Especially in the name, and you can go with Jack and Diane or something like that.
Oh, now I'm gonna be singing that all day.
That's all right.
No, it's a great event, you guys. This time, because of the growth of success of the program, we're still keeping the numbers somewhat down, but we've changed the location also because of the great construction going on KTEL. It's going to be at the Hopkins VFW in their banquet hall. They have donated their space to us for various events
Nice.
that we're gonna be hosting. Yeah,
Okay.
great location, easy to get to, great parking. So it'll be there, followed by networking. The invitation is open to all of our trade partner subcontractors on the project, office and field, our government representatives, our community organizations. It'll be an Eventbrite invitation that we've done before, limited to the first 60 people that register. We keep it under 60 because it's a roundtable discussion. So we wanna make sure we're cognizant of everybody's time and importance of their input.
And you get a good crowd.
Oh, it's been,
That's
well, Jess attended last year's one he was one of the Robbies, but yeah, it's a great group. And the conversation is very enlightening. I make sure the conversation, I wanna make sure our individuals that attend leave educated, excited, and ready for the next day.
It's neat.
So,
It's really neat.
Invites are going out this week, is that right?
oh, it's Friday already. Early next week. Save the dates are going out this week. This beautiful wet ink right before leaving. Anyways, that is exciting. I'm super excited about it. The other thing too, during that week, one of the days' focus is on supplier diversity, which we are here know as DBE support and everything. So there will be some sort, I'm working with our safety team on a potential presentation from OSHA, but there's some other events that might be taking place. And it also during that week, our DWAC meeting falls into place. So for the public area, Tracy and I are putting together some sort of presentation about inclusion on construction. It may be a video that we're using during the week, because each day we will be sending out webinars for our team, both field, office, subcontractors, and you guys will be getting those invites to participate each day in the webinars. So it's pretty exciting. So there's that piece. Any questions about DBE? Except for, we're killing the goals. It's awesome. So, all right, so on to workforce then. And next slide, please. Here, as Elaine showed you guys, our participation and everything for July. I have our numbers from August. And as we showed you guys last month, I'll show you guys each month, what is our trade participation. And it is really fun to point out some, but also it's also very hard to point out some, you know. So, but first I am gonna show you guys one of the ones that just really makes me excited, because when I first started a little over 3 years ago now, conversation with one of our trade partners was with our painting contractor, and I'm like, come on guys, what's going on? Take a look at our painters. And their representative kept telling me, just you wait, Krista. Female participation 17.73% for last month. Busy time for them, almost hitting the wow goal. But even better yet, look at the POCI, you guys, 57.53. Outdoor painting and all of that for this is one of their tougher projects, and they are doing a great job. Cement masons are another one I love to point out on the POCI part. On the female side, there's stories behind it, as with many of our trades regarding highway heavy horizontal construction. Tough nut. But again, you guys, and I love that James covered points. There's some really specific fine-tuned things that are taking place on this project to ensure it works right, you know? And it's focused, you can see a lot of it here, but it also gives us the time to educate others moving forward, you know, in different areas that they wouldn't have thought of going into necessarily. Any questions on those right now? Yes, Elaine?
What company, I don't recall, is doing the glaziers? Is it
Bryn. Bryn Glass,
Oh, could be.
but they don't have any.
That's why I'm asking, who's the company?
Bryn,
Oh.
they're not on site right now. So usually I would remove them, but I'm gonna, hey, I have them in alphabetical order now though. So I'm just gonna leave them, you know, so that way we have.
15,000 plus laborers.
Yeah,
Wow.
isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
And what's really neat is one of these meetings coming up, I will show or, you know, give a presentation about those different types of work the laborers are doing. And it's unbelievable the magnitude taking place.
Who's in the same line of, as Elaine's asking, who are the bricklayers?
Trying to remember the bricklayers. Again, there's such little, is North Country also doing? No. I'd have to, and I'm sorry, I usually have my sub list with me and I don't. I would have to look that up for you, John. And I can let you guys know. Or it'll pop up.
I'm thinking.
Any other questions regarding the report?
I think overall, one of the questions I had was, how many projected workforce hours do you think are left on the project?
Projected, I would have to refer back. I usually have my laptop here with me, you guys.
That's why we shouldn't be meeting in person. We can't rely on our laptops. Switch over.
We wouldn't have had the great discussions we've had so far. Poor Elaine. I will find out, I mean, we do have that, you know, report, you know, because we did it right after the first of the year for projections.
Mhm.
And those pretty much are standing the same.
Okay.
So
And
I will
that's
look at
just for
those again.
LMJV.
No, I
Okay.
have our total project projections with, you know, we asked for projections and their updated work plans at the first of the year. And that's what we're, yep. All right, let's go on to the next one. Hey, look at this. 0 because we kept people. This is just the in and out report, so the transfers in or lab, you know, who came into the project, who left the project for Lunda, CS McCrossin, and the Lunda CS McCrossin joint venture. This is only for the 3 entities right here. And as you can see, we had 11 transfers in and nobody out for last month. So there's that one there. Any questions? I will give you a heads up, that's gonna start, you're gonna see the numbers again. Just like we did last year. You'll start seeing the out report. And that one report that has been asked for regarding transfers, you know, to kind of give an overall picture, is coming along. As I was telling Tyler, I've gotten through the G's in the alphabet just for the LMJV. And that right there was about 12 hours of staring at a screen. So anyways, next month we will be able to show kind of an overall picture, what it looks like for a general contractor for a horizontal project with transfers like us, the project of this magnitude. So, next screen, please. Here's the fun stuff, you guys. Construction Inclusion Week. I will be sending out an email for you guys with a calendar showing you what we have going on each day with the kickoff of the first day and the community involvement on our last day. And that our big event for that is in the works right now, and I'm looking forward to rolling that out to you guys. Last year we did do a winter wear drive, partnered with the Twin Cities, with Norma Miller of Urban League. We are looking at a couple different options this year for another organization directly on our project route. So it's kind of exciting. We also, during that week, we have the second annual Career Awareness Fair that is hosted by the St. Paul Chamber of Commerce for the Twin Cities high schools. That is at the River Center on Tuesday of Construction Inclusion Week. Both the LMJV, Lunda, CS McCrossin, and to my knowledge right now, 4 of our trade partners on the project have booths at this fair, as well as the unions that are with us. So it'll be an exciting day for us. And then the Rosaries of the Rail that we already discussed. So those are the big upcoming things. Also meetings with both Julie Brecky with Hired and Sheila with Goodwill Easter Seals regarding doing some education pieces for our trade partners, our subcontractors on the project, on what to do with seasonal layoffs. How do you keep those people interested in construction? So it'll be a really great thing moving forward, and they're hoping Goodwill Easter Seals and Hired and the LMJV would like to create a footprint plan for the remaining part of the project as to education pieces during that seasonal layoff time. I think that might be it. Any questions?
I have a question. Thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
Sounds like you guys have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this. I just live right down the street from you, so I know exactly where that is. I might come.
I would.
My question is given if we look ahead with the work left remaining and the timeline for completion, and then you press it up against the timeline of getting someone in the door through the pipeline and on the grounds, do those windows still match? Or like, what do you see as, because I'm thinking through like what it takes to get someone from a career fair, all the things they need to do to get their boots on the ground. Is there enough time for that to have them contribute to this project? Is there enough work to go around to get them on site, I guess? Yeah, thoughts?
Great question, Tyler. So the really neat thing, and I can talk about it in regards to both Building Strong Communities program, a transition piece, which is really neat, as well as another program that we're now involved with. That's a high school construction readiness program called Lake Street Works. There's the one that's right along the light rail project, you guys. They have an after-school program that goes from, they've already started and goes through graduation.
Awesome.
So it's like, okay, what is our involvement from now to then to be active with those students, helping Lake Street Works educate them about the construction industry. And as you can see from James's pictures, there's some great opportunities for tours, presentations and such. And we're creating one ready for Construction and Inclusion Week on that Friday. Hopefully Lake Street Works will be spending the morning with us with a project presentation and various tours for various different types of trades. So that's just like they open the door of, hey, here's the light rail. We do the same thing with Building Strong.
Sure.
And then through their program, we're involved with more one-on-one meetings with the individuals and their interests, and kind of partnering them with somebody on the project who has that, who's in that career that they're interested in, as well as trade participation at their union training centers, having some volunteers there. That whole time, we're able to get to know those individuals that are in the program to see if there is a fit.
Gotcha.
So it's almost like that, almost like a career, college
Mm-hmm.
recruitment, we're doing that. You asked because of the short period of time, we do have the commitment to the growth of our workforce for the industry.
Yeah.
So there is potential with having people on our light rail project with the intent to phase them to the next. A great example is both CSM Crossing and Lunder are on 494.
Yep.
Same trades. So there's that potential of getting them started. And instead of just saying, whoop, we're done, there could be that transition to their or other projects.
Okay.
So I hope that answers that.
It does. Beautiful.
Great,
Thank you.
thanks. You bet. Anybody else on workforce? Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Krista.
Mhm.
Maybe Judy?
Yep.
Yeah.
So for the systems, we had premiered APJB, participated in the mock interviews with Summit Academy. We've continued that. That's been a nice relationship. Also, APJB and Gunner combined to set substations, 3 of them, 3 tractor power substations, and then 2 of the comm houses in August. Some of those pictures we had shown earlier. So it's nice to get Gunner involved in that, do the coordination for the actual pick, develop the pick plan, and then essentially run those sites and handle that. And then lastly, we've working with Caster John, begun some field work. We had some change orders for some directional boring. They've been able to help develop the plan. One of them even like the connection for the one neck facility, the fiber optic tie-in. So that's just one of a couple. I mean, there'll be a couple more coming up as things start to develop, but that was one that we've been able to start to kick off here in August.
Quick question.
Sure.
Mark, of the transit power substations, how many have been installed and how many are still left?
Sure. So to date, we've set 8. 7 of them to date we've set 7. 7 of them have, connection from Excel. The next one is actually a week out on the 28th. That's when the substation 8 will go in. And basically, although they're there, then they get temporary, so at least they're climate controlled and things like that, right? And then depending upon the sequence, then finally Siemens will come in and commission them. So some of that is actually starting as we speak, like substations 1 through 4 have begun their commissioning sequences to make sure that not just because it was tested at the factory, but then you finally install it, so everything's supposed to function as it is. So the commissioning will at least be like from a standalone side, not the fact that everything's tied to each substation, ties to each other like through fiber optics. But that piece won't be commissioned yet, but at least the physical integrity of that substation is happening as we speak. Each one roughly is like 4 to 6 days of substation. Make sure everything's functioning as correct. You saw that we were pulling like feeder cables. So that's just, again, getting things from the actual substation out to the line pulled. And then kind of throughout the winter, we're actually going to add some scope to Gunner. We just haven't solidified it yet, but they'll actually do all the terminations for those feeds. So within the substation. So we're going to clean that up and probably be able to advertise that more next month.
So Mark, are there 19 total TPSS?
That is correct.
Okay, so almost halfway, well, less than halfway.
Yeah,
As of next week.
we've procured through 14. So like the rest are currently sitting in our warehouse right now.
So if Siemens is involved now, is Siemens a manufacturer?
Yes,
Same Siemens who built the rail cars?
yes. Yeah, Siemens Mobility, yes.
Okay,
So yeah, thus far that's been going well. So that was a quick highlight. And then for our numbers overall, you see we're very heavily with electricians. The operators are basically supporting the work such as the digging for the substations. And then the laborers such as like rebar tying and things of that nature. Any questions? Other questions?
I think in a similar fashion with the civil contract, are you able to share the remaining number of workforce workforce hours that you have projected?
Sure. Yeah, I'll pass that along with Mike and be able to get a report out for that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any questions?
All right, well, thank you. I think announcements, I mean, of course, what Krista shared. So I think that'll be something that if I can get an electronic copy, I'll slide it on into the advisory webpage.
Thank you.
Yep, and then I think other announcements for the Met Council, we have a contract out there for small business training, so that was recently closed and gonna be awarded pretty soon, but then in 2024, we're expecting to have some small business training opportunities, so to support small businesses as they step into bidding, into the various processes and training them, operations and various things to further support them and help them become stronger businesses so that they can better participate on these big projects. So that's something that's coming up for us in 2024. I don't think I have anything else for the Met Council. And then next we have public invitation.
Nobody was signed up.
Nobody signed up, and then nobody sent any emails.
See, we'd let you talk if you had signed up.
I didn't know I was supposed to, right? I'm only in week 6 here, so I'm not sure, yeah.
Your ankle bracelet isn't showing.
No, right, I know.
So, all right, well, this is the end of the meeting. Next meeting is October 19th on Construction Inclusion Week, and it'll be another meeting where we're meeting virtually. If there's any updates or anything like that, check out the Met Council's social media and their webpage. The project webpage also has a lot of information there, and if there's any questions, please reach out to the project office staff. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I don't know if I can.
We officially here.
So moved.
All right.
We need a
meeting is
second.
We're not on the committee, we can't, we're guests.
I shouldn't have even made a motion, I'm staff.
You don't have anybody here from the committee besides staff.
Yeah,
That's right.
So I second.
it works. Sheila just sent me an email while we were sitting here saying that she's still at her other meeting, so, yeah, so, meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.